KTern.AI is a DXaaS, or a digital transformation as a service automation platform tailor-made for the SAP community. It is a cognitive digital workplace that drives SAP digital transformations across each phase of the digital transformation journey. So here's what we'll be covering today. We'll be starting off with an introduction about SAP DXaaS and KTern.AI, followed by an overview of automating SAP digital transformation as a service, and a hands-on tour of how you can orchestrate your SAP digital transformations with KTern.AI, focusing on how you can accelerate and streamline your SAP transformation projects and processes for SAP customers with digital automation. So like I mentioned earlier, this is day 2 of a 3-day workshop series that focuses on embracing automation-driven productivity for SAP partners. So that is the theme of this 3-day workshop series. So yesterday we saw, which was day 1, we saw how you can plan your SAP transformations. Today we will be covering on how you can orchestrate your transformations. And tomorrow, the last day, day 3, we will be covering on how you can optimize your operations. So here's what you'll be learning today. We'll be showing you how we can simplify the lives of SAP partners and customers with digital automation, how you can position your services along with the platform as a DXaaS package to your customers. And of course, you'll also be receiving the digital transformation kit that is going to help you achieve SAP delivery at scale. So let me introduce the speaker for today. We've got Vignesh, who's head of product growth at KTern.AI. He drives the growth operations and corporate development here. His thought leadership on SAP-led digital transformations as a service has a global influence with lots of avid followers in the SAP ecosystem and also around the world. Vignesh strongly believes that people and technology are his driving force for being out here to contribute to the SaaS world. So on that note, I would like to hand this session over to him. Over to you, Vignesh.
Thank you, Jacob. Hello everyone. Greetings from everybody connecting from across the globe. I hope I'm audible.
We have a request if you can quickly recap on what was discussed yesterday, Vignesh.
All right, sure, definitely. So yesterday was this is a three-day workshop series, and as we know, when it comes to S/4HANA transformations or any SAP transformations, it is important to spend some time in terms of planning, risk assessment, system discovery before a system or a landscape embarks on their digital transformation journey to S/4HANA or even for any other transformation platform or ERP course. So we discussed about how the platform KTern can connect to an ECC system, spend some time in terms of analysis, and provide you with results and insights that helps the customers as well as partners take key decisions in terms of their transformation journey. So it is more focused towards SAP partners, and that was the theme yesterday as well, where and how a partner, an SAP partner, can warm up their existing connections or accounts or tap into new accounts by pitching KTern's digital maps, where it could seamlessly connect via non-invasive methods into a landscape and provide them with results which the SAP partner can utilize and make a pitch in terms of and create a business case for the customer in terms of their move to S/4HANA. It also we also spoke about how there are insights and key results which will help an SAP partner who are already transforming a customer's landscape. So that was something which we discussed yesterday. And I believe the recording, the slide decks, and everything will be shared, and it should appear in your mailbox in a week's time. So today, it is a continuity of yesterday's session. So we spoke about planning yesterday, and this one for people who are attending only today. I just wanted to brief about the platform before I get into the core or the crux of today's discussion. So the platform KTern is an SAP enterprise platform which we built focused towards S/4HANA transformations or any digital transformation in general. It is an SAP Spotlight app, and it is also part of SAP Store. so that people can use it. And we went through the right qualifications and certifications and validations by SAP in order to be listed as part of the SAP store. One of the highlights about the platform is that it is totally data-driven, which means it relies on deep technologies and automation in terms of making a difference for the SAP partners who are on the quest in terms of driving S/4HANA transformations to their customers. And the platform can connect to an SAP system, and it doesn't actually is invasive in terms of installation of probes or plugins or custom objects. It is quite seamless and non-invasive. It relies on standard RFCs and function modules in terms of understanding what kind of system and what are the risk elements present in that system based on the data. So that is exactly how the platform is built. And it is built towards connecting uh, multiple organizations involved in a typical S/4HANA transformation journey. The customer, the partner, SAP, and also other third-party vendors who usually get involved in a transformation project. So that's about the platform. And the platform has got its 5 major streams: maps, projects, process, labs, and mines. And it is built in such a way that it can seamlessly integrate with any other SAP products predominantly, and also non-SAP products which help or aid uh, the customers and system integrators in terms of driving digital transformations. Like I mentioned, its core objective is to connect for people, process, and tools so that a true state of digital transformation is achieved by the end customers. Now, the topic of discussion today would be more on digital projects, process, and labs, the ones highlighted uh, in yellow. And this is the only one we'll be talking about. We spoke about digital maps yesterday, where we spoke about assessment and planning. Now it's going to be execution and governance, modeling and orchestration, and preparation and testing. So once a system is ready to go into an S/4HANA transformation and it has analyzed its landscape, like how we saw yesterday, and the risk elements are identified, the system prepares itself, and the entire company prepares itself in terms of executing the transformation process by involving multiple stakeholders. And it is very key to note that SAP has suggested to use SAP Activate in terms of driving S/4HANA transformation projects. So the platform works on top of SAP's Activate methodology, and it follows the best practices of SAP Activate methodology in terms of driving collaboration and insights and automation in terms of executing the project. We'll be seeing more about how the platform can help in certain cases and how you could utilize data, automation, and collaboration capabilities of the platform in order to drive your transformation projects. It can be for your entire service delivery organization where your service delivery manager or your delivery head has an eagle-eye view of all the projects that are happening under their portfolio. Or it can be for just a project manager who just wants to experiment with this particular platform in order to run with a simple project. And that's about digital projects. Then comes process, where it is about modeling and having workshops, fit to standard workshops or fit cap workshops as SAP recommends to have during the explore phase of SAP Activate, where we spend time in terms of brainstorming and discussing with the business in terms of how they would like to have their processes in terms of greenfield transformation. When it comes to brownfield, it is much different in terms of custom code remediation and how the platform can help. Followed by digital labs. This is very crucial, be it any kind of project, because quality assurance and digital assurance is very key. So the platform has its ability to connect to a landscape and auto-recommend test cases, which can be used during the realized phase where the unit testing, integration testing happens. And the platform allows the stakeholders, the consultants, and the business users to be part of a singular platform where they can collaborate in terms of unit testing, integration testing, and end user testing or user acceptance testing, which is very key, and how it can all roll up into a singular workflow that will allow the entire project organization or the project team to have clear visibility about what is happening, what are the risk areas, how many test cases are more to test, and what are the processes or line of businesses which looks critical. So it provides you an eagle-eye view that anybody can appreciate. So that is something which we will cover as well. So with that note, I will cover a bit about each of these streams and then dive right into the project. Like I mentioned, it starts with digital projects. It works on top of SAP's Activate methodology. Like any transformation platform or any execution platform, the platform has all of its capabilities. The only difference here will be the SAP flavor or the enterprise flavor, which most typical generic platforms or tools lack. SAP projects are not one of 10 to 20 line item projects where it can be managed within 5-member teams. It is an enterprise project where you deal with so many process items, so many scopes, so many test cases, and sometimes the project task list can reach up to even 5,000 line items. And the project teams can even touch 150 across different time zones and across different levels of leaderships. So it is important that a specific SAP-driven platform is needed in terms of driving SAP projects, where it also helps with automation for all the project stakeholders. That is exactly how the digital project was designed and built, which I am about to show. Uh, that's a quite quick introduction about what digital projects is and how it is different. And this project actually means that you can drive not just for S/4HANA transformation, it can also be for Ariba, success factors, public cloud, or any other custom project of your own, even agile projects as well. Because Activate in itself is a hybrid way of execution where you have both waterfall and agile mixed up together. So the platform supports agile projects as well in terms of driving transformation projects. And process is much more interesting because it talks about businesses and business processes and end-to-end processes. So it is very key in terms of sticking to what SAP recommends in terms of standardization, and the platform exactly does that for all the process owners and the stakeholders present in the project in terms of having standard optimized process suggestions for an end-to-end process or a line of business so that that can be adopted in order to the customer needs, so that the core configuration or the initial setup of the processes are done in such a way that they are super standardized. That way, the business is as close to the standard recommendations which SAP recommends. And it is also very important to consider the business workshops, the solution design documents, the blueprint documents, the functional specification documents, which gets generated during this process, and how the platform can accommodate those capabilities and help have a clear vision in terms of handling those. So that's something about digital process. And labs is towards the realized phase, and it is all about testing when you talk about an enterprise project and when you're planning to go live. So the platform provides capability of auto recommending test cases to your project system or your project workspace based on the data it read from the ECC system, which in turn will help you prioritize your test case execution, your test data, and have an eagle-eye vision in terms of what are the line of businesses that are working, what are the business critical transactions, where are the stakeholders having trouble, and while doing so, you're creating a test case repository which you can continue to utilize for your future transformation. Because S/4HANA is just a start to a transformation journey, and there are subsequent upgrades which SAP recommends to do uh, at least once in 2 years. And this platform allows creation of those test repositories platform is visible. I'm in my browser.
Yeah, it is.
All right, thank you so much. So this is a platform, KTern platform. How the platform will also, yeah, sorry for the disturbance. So this is exactly how the platform will also look in terms of uh, your login as well. So please feel free to accept the invite if you have not accepted it, so that we can spend some time in terms of collaborating and having discussions during this hour and during this session. So as soon as you launch the workspace, you will find the workspace getting loaded for you, where you will spend time in terms of trying to understand and analyze what kind of elements are present in for you. Just a second, maybe I'll do a quick refresh.
And Vignesh, maybe while that loads, we have a question here. Maybe you can
Yeah,
address that.
yeah.
Does this work for SAP BW to S4 BI suite?
Oh, when it comes to looking into the analytics or planning the risk elements in terms of SAP BW system, we in fact cover that yesterday where you can have your existing BW system and the platform can connect to that BW system in terms of looking into details and what the platform and what are the different areas of concerns and what are the data sources that will work, that will not work when you go to BW for HANA. That is something which we discussed about. And that's the planning part in terms of risk analysis and what the existing BW system has. And with that research, you can definitely start your BW transformation project within this platform, which I'm about to show in terms of capabilities. So since because it was asked as a question, I'll go into the digital maps, which was discussed as part of yesterday. This was the dashboard which we discussed extensively in terms of details, etc. Now I will try and load the uh, digital maps insights which loaded up, and I will show you the details in terms of what are the different elements and what are the BW specific bits which we covered. Now this is the digital maps results which we saw yesterday, where we connected to a landscape, got into the different process and the ERP data, and tried to suggest what are the applicable process items when the system is moved to S/4HANA. So this is what the platform covered yesterday in terms of executions. Yeah, process governance and the process maintenance and document process suggestions. It will also load the BW analytics maybe once I have time after the execution and showing the demo of all the other items. I will definitely cover that part. So here's where it starts. Now I am part of the digital projects. So our main topic of discussion will be digital projects, process, and labs, as we could see in the screen. And these are the items which we'll be talking about today. Now, first and foremost, when it comes to any project execution, will be the timeline and planning the entire transformation. As we could see here, the platform works on top of SAP's Activate methodology, so you can spin off your own project workspace, like the one which I'm showing right now, in terms of planning your SAP Activate, and you will be auto-recommended by the selections you make in terms of what kind of product you're looking at and what type of transformation are you looking at. If it is a like you mentioned, BW system or an S/4HANA system or an Ariba system, the platform will load the project plan based on your selection, and it will auto recommend you the project plan just like how we see on the screen. So I can plan just like how I'll be able to do that in any transformation planner or a or a Microsoft planner. uh, the good old executions in terms of critical path definitions, start to start, start to finish, and auto scheduling. Everything is something which the platform will be able to help you define so that you can define your own project plan, and the auto scheduling is something which is taken care of. So this is more in terms of planning your transformation, with the platform already suggesting you the transformation plan based on the risk items and based on the system analysis which it did. It almost completes 30% or 40% of your job in terms of preparing an L3 plan and publishing it when we start a project. So a clear defined project plan is established, all the critical parts, definitions, auto scheduling, and complete eagle eye view in terms of phase closures, in terms of when a project is estimated to be completed. All that is something which the platform will be able to address. Along with that, you will be able to also form a resource loading matrix in terms of time, more like a timesheet booking. I can definitely call it to be an effort loading, where we can see how much a particular resource is going to be involved, and based on month, and then there will also be a week on week view, how much time a resource is about to spend in terms of involving in a transformation project. You can do the resource balancing and effort loading and resource circulations as well when you're handling multiple projects. So here's where the planning happens in terms of determining what kind of effort and what kind of users and who are the different roles which has to be involved. And you can, of course, obviously maintain different versions of your project plan in terms of baseline project plan and your actual project plan so that you could correlate it with your progress in terms of how much is completed and how much was actually planned. All that is something which is available. And you can also maintain your workbook planner in terms of having the same exact plan as an Excel sheet in terms of working, which every project manager loves. So you have your own Excel sheet where you can drag and drop and fill in your details and have a view which allows you to decide how many work items, how many deliverables, who are the owners, what are the status of it. So a complete drill down view which will allow you to take decisions. And you can also maintain milestones where you can also maintain your billable and non-billable milestones over here and link it to a particular task item, which will allow you to take key decisions. So that is something which the platform allows you to have, and that covers the most part of your planning. Once the planning is complete, the platform will load something called as a page cockpit. So this is more the heart of the entire application. So based on your project plan, the platform will create work items or task items that spans across different phases. So we've got 4 phases here. Usually Activate has 6: discover, prepare, explore, realize, deploy, and run. This one has 4. It was intentionally done to depict that the project plan is modifiable and you can define your own custom project plans. And under each phase, you will have different deliverables of work packages, as ACP calls it. And each of those deliverables will have their own set of action items or task items with an owner, with a status, with a plan date, and with a priority. So as and when the activities are completed, the deliverables are also marked in terms of their progress. And let me probably show details where the activities are yet to begin. So, and it can go up until L1 or L2 or L3 or even L5 level in terms of the level of activities which you have to maintain. And each of these activities has got their own sets of landing pages, or what we call as task drawers. So this is a task which is assigned to me here, and I've completed it. And if I click on this particular task, this will open up the task drawer, which will reveal even more information, detailed information about what this particular task is all about. As you could see here, I've got what this task is, what is the status, and what is the task type, which project, what is its parent task. Is it if it's going to be any kind of an agile work item or a user story, is it available as part of any kind of a sprint? And the priority, the owner, and who are the other participants. I can tag any other participants. So that this is much like CCing people. Oh, I'm able to see different people who have accepted the invite. Thanks for accepting the invite, and feel free to explore the platform. So I can tag different people and have them in CC, and I can update my project dates and look up into references and add more references here. I'll come to this particular part very soon. And you can have a discussion about any kind of discussion, any kind of information. So I can tag a person and say work completed. And this will go as a notification to that particular person, and all that stays as a record in terms of my discussions. And I can track the history in terms of what had happened and who had worked on this. In terms of change history, I can upload any files and it will sit inside a files repository or a files explorer, which I will show very soon. Maybe I can just upload a file here right now. So let me upload an image over here. So this gets loaded, and I can maintain any kind of documentation or wiki notes, take a screenshot of anything, and have it loaded here more for documentation or knowledge base purpose, like the one which you see right now. So I can just save this. And of course, hierarchy. So because it is very easy for people to get lost in terms of what kind of activity they are doing. So the platform provides a view of what this task is, which work package does it belong to, and what hierarchy does it belong to. So that is something which you can do and play around in terms of creating a plan and having it distributed across different people and having it assigned. So any kind of task assignment you make will trigger notifications in terms of bots, which will take care of notifying the owners, task owners, in terms of a push in-app notification, a Windows push notification, and also a mail notification, so that they are aware of what they have to do in terms of this entire project execution. There's a whole new something called as a transformation hub, where as a project manager, I can spend my time in terms of reviewing the activity list, in terms of ownership, owners, in terms of status, in terms of task completions. I can drill into a particular person and look into who's got how many tasks and how much of it is completed, how much of it is new, etc. And there is this control center where this is more like a project management office where I can define the project scope and have it all configured over here for anybody to get started with the project right away. I can maintain any kind of constraints. I can define my cadence plan and my communication plan. I can define my escalation matrix. So once a task goes overdue, the escalation matrix will trigger automation in terms of sending out mails, escalation mails to owners of the particular task, followed by the reporting immediate reportees, which gets configured over here. You can also maintain your risk registers in terms of what is working and what is not working. As you could see here, I can maintain my risk register, had some risk criteria, and also take decisions in terms of whether a risk is going to cause an impact in the project or it is not going to. So I can also define which risk category it belongs to, which will make the risk assessments go more granular. And obviously, I can maintain any kind of project-specific documentations over here, and I can also maintain based on the project invites which I did. I'll be able to maintain my own standard set of project organization. So that is about digital projects, a very high-level information because I've got more details to cover because we've got two more modules to cover, which are even more interesting. So this project has got almost 4,000 activities to deal with, and you will be able to look into each and every activity by owner, by work package, and have a complete eagle eye view, just like how I've been telling in terms of executions, in terms of analytics, and in terms of insights as well, deliverable wise reports, user workload reports. Everything is something which the platform allows you to have. And you can also drag and drop and create your own customizable reports in terms of any kind of visualization. And just drag and drop, and you will get your own sets of report configuration. So in terms of weekly Scrum meetings, monthly review meetings, or steering committee meetings, the platform helps in all ways in terms of managing and reporting the exact project moments that is happening. So you've also got calendar events where you can maintain different events and create MOMs and create call to actions which you can act upon based on the meetings you have conducted so far as part of the particular project. I'll jump into the process because that's even more special. It starts with the process cockpit. So as you know, when it comes to SAP transformations, there are two major Excel sheets which the entire project team works with. One is your project plan, which we just saw, and how it has been brought onto the platform in terms of having multiple level stakeholders. The other one will be the business process master list. So both of these Excel sheets go in line with each other. They are parallel Excel sheets which work together in terms of determining the scope and the workload of the entire project team. Because while the activities are standard, the scope of the entire project depends upon the business process master list and how many line of business are we talking about, how many modules are we considering, and how many company codes, how many custom code, how many customizations are going to get involved. So the platform provides something called as the process cockpit, and it is based on erstwhile scope items. As you could see here, the platform goes up until level 5, level 6 in terms of maintaining the scope items. Starts with line of business, process group, scope item variant, and finally the process text. So you will be able to maintain the entire process cockpit over here in terms of execution. And I can also launch, and I can also assign owners to them. I can launch a particular scope item. So in this example, let me launch in production operation, make to stock production, discrete manufacturing as an end-to-end process. So I can launch this process and I can define my process owners from the business side in terms of who will be involved. And I can go into modeler and I can define my business process model. I can get a recommendation from the platform in terms of what kind of end-to-end process am I looking to configure as part of this project. As you could see here, I can choose repetitive manufacturing, which will load my suggestion. And I can also open discrete manufacturing, which will load the discrete manufacturing end-to-end process as suggested by SAP in S/4HANA. And of course, no business is as standard as what SAP recommends. So I can definitely drag and drop certain items and draw my own process configurations, add certain tasks, and do any kind of activity I want to do. I can integrate them, and I can also save them, which gets saved in terms of discrete manufacturing process. And I can also download them for me to upload it as part of my solution design document or my business process document. So this completely eliminates one major dependency which every consultant talks about, Visio or Draw.io portals, which consumes a lot of time in terms of building up the end-to-end BPM and diagram from scratch. But the platform recommends you already, which is editable, which is user interactive, and you can have the stakeholders collaborate against this particular process item, and you will definitely be able to link up all the report views or report models, screenshots as part of the wiki notes of files, which stays against this particular end-to-end process flow. And you will also be able to link it up with multiple task items, which you do as part of your project plan. Because as a process item, and this goes through discover, prepare, explore, realize, deploy, and run. So during the preparation phase, it is all about finalization of the scope item. When it gets into prepare, you will spend time in terms of fit to standard workshops, solution design, document preparations, code configurations. So you have your project plan getting linked against your process. So you have clear visibility in terms of what is happening against a particular scope item or a process item. If I go into my process catalog, I have my process item over here, and I might be doing my project execution based on my project plan. But what I do is defined by my process item list. So I can toggle the reference project items, and this will reveal me against a line of business, what are the different activities performed as part of the project plan? I've conducted workshop, I've conducted integration workshop, I have maintained and created documentation process flows. I have documented the preset parameters, configuration values, master data requirements, integration requirements, analytics requirements, all that has been documented against this line of business. So these are the different set of activities which I have performed as part of my project execution, where I have principal consultants, normal consultants, technical consultants, functional consultants, security consultants, analytics consultant with different roles and responsibilities who act on this particular line of business. This is for this line of business, and I can go into the process group if in case if there are any specific activities done against this process group. Nothing so far, and maybe against the scope item, I will have, of course, yeah. You perform fit to standard workshops against a scope item or a process item. So preparation of fit to standard workshops, verifications, execution, solution design documents, unit testing, string testing, test case preparation, end user training. So you can toggle across different process groups and scope items and check and look into the activities performed and what are the activities still pending to be performed. And the platform offers you a dashboard in terms of having an eagle eye view again, in terms of how many process items, how many line of business, how many scope items, and how many end-to-end processes are we dealing with, and what statuses are they in, and who are the process owners. And I also get provided with an integration report in terms of line of business split by status. So how many lines of businesses are there, and how many of the scope items are completed, and who are the owners in terms of executing different activities against each lines of business, and what are the activities being performed. So as you could see here, based on the heat map, I could see here the process configuration, the solution walkthrough, the training and testing takes up most of my time. And I can drill down into one, and I can see what is the status of those work items. And I can go into activities and see what are the list of activities which are being overdue and which is taking up the large amount of time. So it seems like my fit to standard workshop execution is taking large amount of time, followed by my solution definition documentations. So I can go, and I can also choose to see a particular activity status. So in this example, I'm trying to understand if the solution walkthrough is completed for all of my line of business. It looks like it is completed for all the line of businesses over here. Similarly, if my UAT or test execution is completed, if my training is completed, if my user manual preparation is completed, so I can go into a particular task and I can see if all of the scope against that particular task or activity has been completed or not. So that is exactly what the digital process allows you to do. It helps you model and design your process, and it also helps you to orchestrate and create a eagle eye view in terms of your reporting. This definitely helps your practice leads in terms of who used to handle multiple projects and where they will have their reportees involved in their project execution, where they can have a complete vision of what is lagging, where exactly should more resources be deployed in terms of completing an activity so that a phase closure or a milestone can be achieved. Now comes test suite. Here's where an L1 level of test cases are being maintained. So you will have test planning, which can be your line of business, followed by test scenarios, and eventually the test cases. So I can launch a test case, and it will take me to something called as test case design. So you have a task and you have a detail, you have a process, and it has its own sets of capabilities in terms of what a process has to be and how a process has to be maintained in an SAP process. And similarly, this one is for the test cases. The platform has something called as test lab. So in this test lab, you will be able to maintain different test scripts and test executions. And for this particular example, the platform also provides an automation capability. I can open up, here's an example which I would like to take. So I'm taking a Fiori application and I can just paste the, I just open my recorder, which is available as part of Chrome, and I can just say start recording. The platform will open up the application, the Fiori URL, which is of interest to me, which I would like to automate. And it would just listen to all kinds of actions which I'm doing. And the platform is listening to any kind of activities which I do. So testing demo. So I can type anything I want, just like any business user who just executes a transaction. And the execution is complete. So this is one simple set of activities which I recorded, and I can stop this. Now, the platform would have created a recording, and this will tell me a script is recorded, which is of 10 steps, and it will tell me what are the different steps and what are the different activities and what is a screenshot. This is something which I just typed, and it also captures the screenshot of what I just did as a business user. So you have your test script in terms of a particular process execution. Now I can also just press this again, where it will replay what I just did in an automated execution manner. So in terms of test execution as well, you just record and you replay, and your test script is created while you record, and your test execution is created when you replay. And I can definitely change the parameters in terms of changing values, and I can do this execution for n number of bulk data, similar process executions, but you might have to do it for huge sets of data and huge customizing data. I'll be able to do it again and again over a period of multiple times. And it just automates everything. It records my test execution. And I have the logs created as test logs. So this is an update configuration. So I can close this or ignore this right now. So if I go into my test logs, it will tell me that whatever script I executed has been replayed and it is passed, and it will also capture the screenshot of whatever I just did. So I executed the script twice, so I should have two executions. The first two can be ignored because this was something which I did earlier. So the test log 3 is something which I executed, and test log 4 is something where I changed the value in terms of what I wanted to type, and it created the execution logs. And if in case any of those test scripts break, it can also create a defect, and this gets created as part of my issues repository, and it will tell me this is a defect which got captured as part of the testing and what kind of test case it is and who has to be the owner. You can pass down to the defect management team who can work on this. and it is linked against a particular test script so that the script is available for reproduction. So people do not have to spend mail communications in terms of what was it, how did it occur, etc., because it is available as part of the reproduction, step-by-step information. And it also tells me how deep this test case is sitting as part of realize, as part of unit testing, and as part of plan, and finally as part of a script, as part of this execution, and finally the issue. So this is how deep SAP executions happen, and this is how a clear hierarchy is maintained by the platform. Now, one major question that is very important is the documentation. So when I have my execution captured and the logs captured, why bother about creating manual documentation? So the platform can just download this entire execution, which I did, as a Word document, and it can also create a training manual in terms of an Excel sheet, which will have instructions to my end users in terms of what they have to do and what kind of information should they be passing into in terms of this test case or test execution. So this is the Word document and the Excel document. So this is a document which I downloaded, and when did I download this? What is the project summary? Who downloaded this? What is the test case summary? Who's the owner? When is it planned to start and when is it planned to end? How many defects are present against this particular test case? How many different scripts are being recorded? And how many logs have been execution? And what was the outcome of it? And finally, any kind of discussions can also be captured. Similarly, it will also have a end-to-end execution in terms of instructions, followed by what is the input that you need to pass. So enter a detailed description of your incident and what is the value that you must pass for this particular training manual. So that is something which the platform automatically renders. Uh, I just automated a transaction and I got it recorded. I replayed it with multiple values and I just downloaded that as a document. So that is exactly what the platform can do in terms of digital labs. So you've got your digital process, digital projects, and digital labs working in collation in terms of helping you achieve your delivery excellence and reporting and governance that will allow any user or any consultant or any project manager to have a complete control and excellence over their deliverables and their reporting. Now, there's also this good old analytics, which I can spend more time on in terms of what are the different analytics and how is it available. So what this typically does is that for any system integrator or an SAP partner, it acts as a UBP, which the SAP partner can readily invite the customers so that they can win their confidence in terms of transparency and how the entire project gets executed. And there is also significant amount of automations and levels of automations which we are trying to reach that will allow help gain more momentum and reduce monotonous activities or manual activities in terms of documentation creations, etc. So the platform helps in creating a UDP for the partner in terms of reducing the gross margin and achieving delivery excellence. And there's also different file mechanisms which I'm about to show. So whatever execution or activities which you do ends up in documentation, and the documentations are very key when we talk about SAP projects. And it gets spread out in terms of multiple different tools. And what the platform has done is that it has unified all of these executions together. So any kind of files or deliverables can be loaded up as part of the files repository, and it stays over there. And you have complete control over who has to view what and who has to control what in terms of these file uploads. Now, when I started off with digital projects, I uploaded a file, and this file upload is something which is visible over here for me. That I uploaded a file. This was an image which I uploaded when I started off with digital projects, and we can see the image as well. Now, while I covered about the execution and the reporting aspect of it, I gave justice to the streams. One thing which I really wanted to focus about is something called as a sign-off. Now, one of the key problems or issues which we have seen in any enterprise project is the adoption and the acceptance of the solution which the IT team generates by the business. The business always has some kind of problem in terms of accepting a solution or an innovation or a transformation project which the IT organization does. So, and it also acts as a problem for the system integrator during go lives, especially during go lives because of a red flag raised by an end user. So this platform allows uh, all kind of users to be involved during the execution itself, which will allow you to take collaborative decisions. And each step of your execution, like fit gap analysis workshop, user discovery workshops, solution design documentation, functional specs, customizations, testing, training, all of these can be linked up to something called a sign-offs, which you can create n number of sign-offs in terms of execution and have a complete eagle-eye view in terms of phase-wise deliverables and sign-offs and acceptance by the business. As you could see here, this is a deeply nested sign-off which we just created. I might have to reduce my browser resolution so that I can cover more space in terms of how I do it. So this one is about S/4HANA implementation go live. So you have deliverables by discover, by prepare, by explore, by realize, and finally hypercare and support gets over here, deploy, and finally hypercare activation. Now, underneath each of these phases, which is discover, you will have your own sets of deliverables and sub-activities or documentations which you have to produce as a system integrator that gets approved by the IT organization and the business organizations too in certain areas so that they are okay about what has been produced as a deliverable. This way, you'll be able to create multiple levels of sign-offs. So as you can see here in prepare, you have to provide strategy documents. You have to approve your project schedule and budgets, and you should also have a plan in terms of organization change management, planning and executions, and strategy definitions happen over here. And when it comes to explore, it is all about fit gap workshops, process by fit gaps workshop, and analytics planning and design. And when it comes to realize phase, here's where it gets even more trickier because you have to spend time in terms of data migrations, integrations, process configuration, and underneath process configuration, you have different levels of line of business. So you have finance, supply chain, and manufacturing, and then it goes deeper into an account process group, into a department, and into a particular cabin where you have certain department users and power users sitting who say that yes, quotation has been configured fine, and verifying journal entries has been configured fine. The design is good to go. End user testing by them, etc. So what the platform basically does is that it provides you a bottom-up view in terms of approving and rejecting key activities in your project plan so that you can decide where a risk is looming when it is about to go live. So you have different views here in terms of multiple levels, multiple stakeholders, and you have your act summary view and your actions view. I can say I'm approving this, yes, and this gets approved over here. And I also have different owners in terms of levels too. So this gets moved up the hierarchy so that the project plan can be maintained. Now, I would love to spend more time over here, but I might have to stop and get back to my presentation and talk about the list view. And I can also create my own sign-off where I assign certain sets of people and spend time collaborating with them. And all of these will definitely have their own sets of collaborations and files and history capturing so that allows clear information tracking, and this can also be downloaded as a document and submitted for phase closure or approved for phase closure. Now, let me get back to my presentation so I can post it. So with what we saw in terms of projects, process, and labs, system integrators can use the platform in terms of executing SAP transformation with automation and with the collaboration facility which the platform provides. And for larger system organizations or system integrators, this can be introduced into their delivery practice where they can achieve delivery excellence in terms of having n number of users because the platform allows unlimited users and it is not directly linked to any kind of pricing or subscription metric. So the system integrator can invite any number of users, both from the system integrator side and the customer side in terms of collaborating into a workspace. And you can definitely invite your customers, which we saw as part of the sign-offs, and have clear collaboration and have and control the entire project execution. So this way, we believe as system integrators, you might find this of great value. Now, here's a quick poll. Based on what you saw, what kind of use case interests you the most in terms of this uh, platform which purchase flash to you? So let's just give it a minute because as you can see here, it can help you in terms of your entire project execution or just your task management alone or your issue management alone or test case management alone. Or you can also think of executing it as part of your own internal execution or have your delivery team try this or just use a particular feature like sign off with your customers. So that's what the platform can do. So one platform and you might have infinite number of possibilities in terms of how this can be executed. So I will move on with, given the time constraint, we can probably stop the poll. So I'd like to summarize over here where the platform allows you to have infinite and countless possibilities in terms of what you can do inside the SAP world in terms of providing transformation to your customers and how you can also benefit the organization in terms of driving delivery excellence and gross margins and resource reduction and effort reduction. Now, with this note, I will stop this the talk for day 2, and I'm super excited to meet you guys tomorrow, where we will spend time in terms of how the platform can help with your current ECC customers who are not yet on S/4HANA. Because what we spoke is kind of centered around S/4HANA, but what we are about to see tomorrow is something which is very special, which had dealt with greater number of data and deep tech. And we believe you will absolutely love this because this one is about management of application management systems and release of transport requests and how those transport requests cause sleepless nights for release managers and change managers. So this one is about that, where we will spend time in trying to understand how you can um, have a control over your SAP releases with automation and with KTern. And we've also got a bunch of links which you can spend time. And if you liked what you saw, and if you're not a partner with us anymore, you can go to KTern and you can click on Become a Partner tab, and this will allow us to get in touch with you. So this is KTern.com. You can go into partners, click on Become a Partner, and you can definitely have a contact, pass your information so that we can get in touch with you. I'll stop here and I'll open up the questions forum so that I can answer the questions. So, okay, the first question, can the test document template be customized as per the customer requirements? Obviously, of course, the test document template which you see is something which we provide as standard. If you got your own set project specific or customer specific test documentation template, it can definitely be customized. The next question is this SAP approved platform? Of course, yes, we are part of SAP Store. As you could see here, I am part of the SAP Store listing. You can search KTern.AI in SAP Store, and we are an SAP validated product. And we are also a Spotlight partner in terms of what SAP provides. Do we have a trial version I can suggest to my clients? The trial version is something which we provide, and all you have to do is just get in touch with us. And I think a trial version is something which we can spin off immediately in order for you to play around. Thank you so much. How can I associate KTern's sales team when there is a potential opportunity? All you have to do is become a partner, and we've got our extended pre-sales team who will help you in terms of an opportunity and how, in terms of providing documentation and support and help in terms of enablement and onboarding. That is something which we can definitely take care of when it comes to dealing with the potential opportunity? Thank you for that particular question.
There's one last question in the chat, Vignesh. Is it integrated with Microsoft Teams?
Oh yes, definitely. We are integrated with Microsoft Teams, and there is a bunch of integrations which we have already. So I can go into my settings, and it works with any kind of collaboration platform where we have webhooks where you can integrate with, and we also integrate with Google Hangouts and UiPath Solution Manager. So there's a tons and tons of integration, mix of products which we are already integrated with. Even if there is a product which we are not integrated with, there is always a savior in terms of Zapier. We are listed as part of Zapier, so we can definitely link to any kind of destination product using Zapier too. But Microsoft, there is a native integration which is available, obviously.